Brooklyn Nets look back to contention. They look like one of the best teams in the NBA after their slow, rough start. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving have really kind of worked it out. The Nets, for right now, kind of are on the right track. Now, I still believe that the Nets are one bad day away from just the house of cards crumbling, and maybe that is Kevin Durant's injury, which is really unfortunate, right? The Nets were really rolling. Kevin Durant's having just a monstrous season. It's just unbelievable what he's able to do, and then he's hurt, and he's likely missing a month, if not longer. And there's a lot of concerns that the Brooklyn Nets are not going to be able to contend and compete with Kevin Durant out, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, he is hands down, far and away their best player. In many ways, is the team. And so hopefully the Brooklyn Nets have enough now this time around because Kevin Durant's gotten hurt in the past and they really struggled. Hopefully this time around they have enough to go and make a push to try to contend and stay at least afloat in the playoff race, so when Kevin Durant comes back, you can make that last final push and then get ready and locked and loaded for the playoffs. There's still a lot of questions what's going to happen this offseason, but the offseason is the offseason, right? They'll figure it out when the time comes. But in the meantime, the Brooklyn Nets are looking to try to make some type of trades to really bolster the roster. And they have been linked to bigs, right? Because they really want like a power forward or, a rebounding type player. So you've seen a lot of conversations about Miles Turner, John Collins, guys like that could come in, kind of fit in nicely with this team, be a solid, 3-and-D style player as well as a rebounder, because the Nets really need rebounding terribly. And we just got a recent report that relays this information. The Nets are definitely looking for a deal, but they want to bring in a star who can play alongside what they have. The executive told Heavy Sports they'd be in the market for a power forward type, maybe a rebounder. Now, the Brooklyn Nets want a star. I don't see how they could get a star. I mean, they have less assets than anybody, right? Houston owns like all of their draft picks. They don't really have anything of tradable value. I mean, they do have a couple like nice young guys, but they don't have like the salaries to really match. I don't know how they could make a move for like a quality tier guy. I really don't see it. Now, the John Collins rumors have been speculated for some time, and John Collins seems to be a real target, a guy that could play alongside everybody, that can rebound, defend, do multiple things. That could be huge for them. I just don't know how they get there. I don't know how they make a trade that's valuable enough to the Atlanta Hawks to where it's like, okay, well, that makes sense, especially with reports that Atlanta wants a Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell type deal for John Collins, which one I think is insane. They're not going to get anywhere near that. John Collins isn't having a great season, but also if you're the Nets, I don't know if John Collins would really help, right? I mean, he's struggling mightily as like the third or fourth option on Atlanta right now, and he's going to be the third or fourth option on the Nets. I just don't think he's the needle mover. I mean, granted, you can't have too much talent. You can't have too many, quality all-star level players, I guess, but I don't know. I just don't think I don't see them being able to make an efficient, effective move. I just don't. Not unless you're trading Ben Simmons or Kyrie Irving, because I don't think they're going to trade Kevin Durant, but right now, I don't see how they get from like nothing to like, oh, here's John Collins or here's Miles Turner or whatever, right? They just don't really have a lot to unload that would be of value to another organization outside of, like I said, like, maybe a Ben Simmons because he's kind of gotten back into form. Obviously Kevin Durant, if they were to ever retrade him, I think, once again, you'd be right back to like every team in the league trying to make some noise to go get him. But I don't see them being able to get it. But if you can find a way to get a John Collins somehow, some way, then I mean, I can understand them wanting to take the risk. I don't know why they don't just go and look at like Hassan Whiteside, right? Like he'd be a free option. Yes, there's a lot of questions about like his locker room and just how he thinks he's Anthony Davis essentially. But in reality, like a big piece of humble pie was just laid to him, right? He went this entire offseason and he still isn't on a team throughout the season. So maybe he could come in and kind of be that guy because that's all he's ever been, like, right? A rebounder, shot blocker, right? He is elite at those two things. And that would be huge for the Brooklyn Nets to have a legit rebounder and shot blocker that could go get you, just points here and there, right? You draw so much attention from all your shooting and everything like that. Whiteside would feast, right? He could be a lob threat. You could get easy rebound, and he'd be free. I don't know why they haven't taken a look at somebody like that, because I just don't see the assets. I mean, like, go look up the Brooklyn Nets' tradable assets. They have like nothing. All their picks are basically pick swaps or convey to the Houston Rockets because of the James Harden trade. And like they got like a couple things, but it's just like it's nothing really of value. Like, they don't really have anything that I could see teams being like, oh man, that's what we need is the Brooklyn Nets picks. So I don't know. If they can figure out a way to land a John Collins, then all the more power to them. Because, I mean, seriously, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, John Collins, and Kevin Durant, you'd have a very sizable team. You'd have a very unique, balanced team. But, you know, again, who plays this? Are you going setter? Are you going shooting? I mean, I guess for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, you don't really need to worry about shooting. So maybe you go... You know, I still think you go get Hassan Whiteside. I still think Whiteside with this could work. But, you know, regardless, if you can make it happen, then yeah, sure. I just don't know how they get there. I don't see Brooklyn being able to muster up enough to where a team really wants them. Now, maybe if there's like, you know, a disgruntled star or, you know, mid-tier guy that just wants out and he's like, I want to go to Brooklyn, then maybe you could do something. Or like maybe one of these rebuilding teams, maybe they have a piece that they would unload. You know, like maybe you could get like Jakob Poeltl from the Spurs. Like that might be a possibility. I could see something like that. He doesn't make a bunch of money, so you could probably give him some of your young guys, you know, like Cam Thompson, something like that. You could go and unload some young guys and maybe give whatever picks or whatever you have to go get a Jakob Poeltl, right? Like, and now you got him with Kyrie, KD, and Ben Simmons. You can run Ben Simmons at the 4. Yeah, you don't really have a ton of shooting in your front court, but you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and you could start like Seth Curry or something, you know, like boom, there you go. Or have Ben Simmons and Royce O'Neal play, right? So you could have a starting 5 of like Ben Simmons at the point, Kyrie at the 2, KD at the 3, Royce O'Neal at the 4, and Jakob Poeltl at the 5. Like, Jakob Poeltl is a great will-in passer. He's a low post threat. He's not really a great floor spacing big, but he can go get you buckets. He could easily be a 20-10 guy if you need him to be. He's an unselfish player. He's a great passer. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but he is. You know, it's something worth reiterating. So, like, you could even run your offense through him at times and run screen sets. Like, I don't know. I think that they're looking in the wrong direction, in my opinion. I think they have like this it's kind of like the Lakers situation where, you know, you keep hearing the reports about the Lakers are star chasing. They're trying to get that other star. They want to get that other star. And it's like, you don't need another star. You just need quality rotation and role guys. Like, that's how I feel about Brooklyn. Like, Brooklyn on paper might be the best team in the league or one of the best teams in the league. Like, you don't need a lot. Like, you're already a contender right then and there the way you've been playing. They've been, you know, top 5 offense, top 10 defense. That usually is enough to win a championship. So, you know, I understand that they want more rebounding. They want more, you know, like a low post presence. But I think the star chasing is what's killing them. I think that there are better viable options out there that you could go take a look at and maybe get like a valuable piece or two, or just go look at, you know, like I said, a Hassan Whiteside. Hassan Whiteside, I think, would be perfect. You get rebounding, shot blocking. You know, it's a low-risk, high-reward move. You give him a 10-day contract. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, no skin off your back. You let him go, and you're right where you were. But I think between now and then, you sign Hassan Whiteside to a 10-day contract, and you're off to the races. I mean, the same thing I've said about the Lakers, because I do have the As It Stands Lakers channel, so I'm sure many of you that are watching this video are subscribed over there. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to that channel. But, you know, and I reiterated the same thing about the Lakers should go get Hassan Whiteside, because I just think he fits. He fits both of these teams' needs. Like, both could be correct. Now, he can't play for both of them, but, you know, it's an arms race. If you're the Brooklyn Nets, I think he would come in and be a nice, exactly, rebounder, shot blocker. Those are the things that the Brooklyn Nets desperately need. Well, then there you go. Now you got your lob threat. You got your shot blocking, you got your rebounding. And then you could try to maybe go find a minor trade or two to move it. I just think that they're trying to aim for the stars when they should be, you know, trying to just hit the atmosphere and get all those scraps. Because you have a lot of teams that are aiming for the stars. And if you're the Brooklyn Nets, you don't need it. Right? Like, Kevin Durant's probably going to be back in a month. You'll be fine. And you're one of the 3 best teams in the East. And I just think you make a solid move or two, you're right there. You're a contender, and you're probably coming out the East if you with a solid move or two, right? So I don't know. I think that is the approach that they should take rather than trying to go get, the John Collins or like the Miles Turner or whatever. If you can land them, great. Then that's perfect. Then yeah, you probably are the best team in the league. But why waste the time and potentially lose out on all these other viable options for a star chase? I don't know. Those are my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. I'd love to hear yours. Let me know down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? Do you think that they can land John Collins? Do you think that, no, they're not going to be able to, and, go look for smaller pieces? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear them. Let me know down in the comment section.